I had lived in my apartment for only 3 months when the break-in happened. I still remember the way the doors sounded that night, an echo I can't unhear. It was past midnight, and I was on my couch scrolling through messages. The building was usually quiet at that hour. Thin walls, yes, but quiet. So when I heard the first, I didn't think much of it. Then the footsteps stopped directly outside my door. I muted my phone. Silence. Then, my heart dropped. It sounded like someone trying keys. At first I thought maybe it was a neighbor confused or drunk. I looked through the peephole. Nothing. Whoever it was stood just outside the fisheye's edge. I whispered, "Hello," even though I knew it was a bad idea. The jingling stopped. Then a whisper came back, a voice I didn't recognize. Not a neighbor, not anyone I'd ever heard in the building. I backed up slowly, trying not to make noise. The voice outside turned aggressive, muttering something I couldn't make out. Then there was a loud against the door, someone slamming a shoulder into it. My legs went weak. I grabbed my phone and dialed security, but before they could pick up, the intruder tried the door again. The frame shuttered. They were trying to break it. I ran to the kitchen and grabbed the only thing I had, a metal pan. Pathetic, I know, but it made me feel slightly less helpless. The banging stopped. Silence again. I froze, listening. Then I heard it. A tool. They were trying to pick it. I whispered to myself, "Please stop. Please just go." They didn't. I heard the click of the lock shifting slightly. Not fully turned, but close. Too close. I pressed my weight against the door, even though I knew it wouldn't matter against real force. My hand was shaking so badly the pan nearly slipped. Then from the hallway, someone else had entered the stairwell. The intruder froze. For 2 seconds, everything held still. Then I heard the quick running down the hallway. Then the heavy of someone sprinting down the stairs. I didn't move, not for a long time. Security arrived 20 minutes later. They checked the hallway, the stairwell, the cameras. Grainy footage showed a man in a hoodie approaching my door, stopping out of camera range, then bolting a minute later. No face, no identification. The police took a report. They were kind, but blunt. He knew what he was doing, one officer told me. He's tried other units in this district. He'll try again somewhere. I slept at a friend's place for a week. Even now, years later, the sound that triggers me most is a footstep in a hallway. Because I know how quickly safety can disappear. I know how close I came to opening the door, to confronting someone who didn't care whether I lived through that night. I moved out 2 months later. I still think about the intruder's whisper, how soft it was. Too soft, like someone trying to make sure I'd get close to the door. I'm just grateful I didn't. I've always slept with my window cracked open. Not wide, just an inch or two, enough to let in the night air. My apartment was on the 2nd floor, so I always felt safe. People don't climb walls for random break-ins, right? That's what I thought. It was a humid night in June. I remember because my fan was pointed directly at my face, humming constantly. And I had drifted into that half-sleep where you're dreaming but still aware of your surroundings. Then I heard it. Not the fan, not the street, something else. Metal on metal, directly next to my bed. My eyes snapped open. The room was dark except for faint orange streetlight bleeding through the curtains. The scraping came again. I turned my head slowly toward the window. The latch, the one I always forget to lock, was moving. At first I thought maybe it was the wind, but then I saw the silhouette of a hand, a human hand, reaching inside the narrow opening, fingers curling inward, try to push the latch up. My heart slammed. I froze completely, like my body had detached from my brain. Then a low whisper drifted through the gap. Shook, quiet, quiet. Male voice. Calm. Too calm. I slid carefully off my bed, moving as quietly as I could. My phone was charging on the nightstand. I reached for it, but the charging cable scraped across the wood just enough to make a noise. The hand in the window stopped instantly. Then, something pressed harder against the window frame. Someone was leaning their weight on it. I ducked behind the dresser. My apartment was small. There was nowhere to hide that would actually help. I dialed emergency services with shaking fingers. While it rang, I heard the window begin to lift as he forced it open wider. The dispatcher answered, but I couldn't talk loudly. I whispered, "Someone's breaking into my apartment, second floor. Please send someone." Behind me, the sound of the window opening grew louder. My blood turned to ice. Then came a new sound, one that still loops in my nightmares. He was climbing in. I crouched lower, the phone still in my ear. The dispatcher was telling me to stay on the line, stay somewhere safe. But there was nowhere safe. A leg swung through the window. A dark figure was now half in, half out, moving with slow, practiced confidence. That's when I made the mistake of knocking over a glass of water on the dresser. The intruder froze. His head turned directly toward the noise. I could see him more clearly now. Hood pulled low, face partly shadowed, but his eyes visible. Wide, sharp, focused. He knew I was in the room. He stepped 1 foot onto the floor. I held my breath. Then, from outside, came a sudden, sharp, and a voice shouting, "Police! Don't move!" The dispatcher must have sent officers nearby. Maybe they were close by chance. But the timing saved my life. The intruder reacted instantly. He dove back out the window, hitting the wall outside with a scramble of shoes on brick, then dropping into the bushes below. I heard the officers running, shouting, their footsteps pounding down the exterior stairs. But he got away. They searched the area for hours. Later, the officers told me there had been similar attempts around the district. A man targeting unlocked second-floor windows. No forced entry, no loud noises, just the latch. After they left, I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. I sat with every light on, staring at the window. It felt like if I blinked, the hand would come back, curling around the frame. Searching, I moved out at the end of the month. Now, even on the hottest nights, even when the air feels suffocating, I sleep with every window locked, sealed, checked twice. Sometimes 3 times. Because I learned something that night. People absolutely do climb walls.